Hello everyone, and the channel is with you in search of the best, and today I will tell you about 5 facts about Diablo Immortal, story, classes, game modes, and more. Listen carefully and don't get distracted. Subscribe to the channel. I looked at the statistics and 94% of people are watching without a subscription. It's not difficult for you to subscribe to this channel, but I will be glad. Click on the like button if you want to continue. The untold story of Diablo. The events of Diablo Immortal take place between Diablo 2, Lord of Destruction, and Diablo 3. We kill the ruler of evil Baal, who managed to desecrate the world stone. To save mortals, Archangel Tyrael decides to destroy the stone, and he himself disappears to the limit. Our task is to deal with the fragments that attract the arriving demons, otherwise they will resurrect Diablo himself. The antagonist of the public Herald of Dread, Skarn, would be his first appearance in the franchise. The Emperor with him is occupied by the Lord of Lies, Belial, and his cultists. The plot revolves around the rebirth of Tyrael, the actions of series pop stars Deckard Cain, Malthal's betrayal, and the plans of Audrea and Magda. And while most of the story takes place around the year 1270, Blizzard promises time travel events without overlapping with Diablo 3 and Diablo 4. The same classes, only in profile. Diablo Immortal has the typical classes in the series. They are made more mobile. Coincidence, right? Abilities often deal damage in an area and they are targeted. I'll tell you more. Barbarian, recovers in battle and deals a lot of physical damage. He can spin and run with slow resistance. It must be kept at a distance and caught on cooldowns. The Barbarian has the least active abilities compared to other classes. Wizard, slows down, burns enemies and teleports. Weak armor and lack of HP are offset by elusiveness and magic shield. There are 2 strategies against him: soak up damage until he has mana, or wait for cooldowns and quickly score before the wizard casts protection on himself and runs away. Monk is a real support that benefits from max HP. He jumps between enemies, bounces off the wall, teleports and heals not only himself, but also allies. This is a headache for the Barbarian and the enemy group because he can knock back and inflict the bleeding debuff. The Demon Hunter is an imbecile class, as it sets traps, turrets, hides in the mist, and moves around without taking damage. The disadvantage of hunters is that they have either a directional or AoE ability. It turns out that there is almost no chance against one enemy or a monk. The Crusader is more of a tank than a warrior. He can shield himself, as well as activate AoE attacks that hit anyone who is stunned or slowed. In addition, he raised his War's Teeth to increase movement speed and detect debuffs. It is better to use it in conjunction with the Wizard, which freezes the enemy, and the Crusader powers in damage. Necromancer is a class that can summon and control skeletons. He also throws the bones of nearby corpses and raises sharp spikes from the ground. Insiders revealed a few more abilities: Corpse Explosion, Bone Wall, Ghostly Form, Bone Armor, and Golem Summoning. In general, the Necromancer will command the army of the dead and impose debuffs pumping, content and everything. The adventures of the heroes begin in the city of Wortham, which can be reached through the Cursed Forest. They also buy at the cemetery and, of course, in the dungeons. It is there that the main loot is mined, as well as the safety of quests. A typical dungeon can be completed in 10 to 15 minutes either alone or in a group. In addition to them, there are also rifts of the trial. They allow you to get a reward for the first passage, but the multiplicity of risks with each time. Ancient Fractures. If you want even more challenges and random rewards, then you are in the Ancient Rifts. Before starting, you can use runes, which not only give a chance for a cool prize, but also add various modifiers. They have both positive and negative effects. This is a great place to farm the legendary gems that are supplied for equipment. Small Cooperative. In each observer you meet dozens of players. Together with them, you can participate in random and European events. To do this, you can gather a group of up to 4 people or even spread the guild, so that you will meet even more social features. During the alpha, I couldn't have the ability to party in the dungeon, it's a very long queue, so some of the content goes solo freely. West March. The main hub for all Diablo Immortal players is the city of West March. The fact that average merchants, artisans, rifts and even a notice board for catching monsters are acceptable, just like in The Witcher. I'll tell right now. Armor. Reaching the maximum personality level depends on the type of armor found, there are several of them, common, magic, rare, and legendary. The last two need to be downloaded. Unnecessary armor can be sold, but it is better to spray it to upgrade your network. By the way, in Immortal there is a market between players, you won't be able to sell legendaries. Who are Shadows and Immortals? Diablo Immortal has Shadows and Immortals. These are not typical factions like the Alliance and Horde from World of Warcraft, although they start serious PvP and real faction wars. They open upon reaching level 43. According to the lore, the Immortals must protect Sanctuary from demons. This is hard work, so the Shadows are watching them. If the former do not cope with their work, then the latter take their place. It's done like this. Shadows are divided into sort of clans that perform tasks. Upon reaching a certain number of points, the Rite of Exile event begins. These are 10 PvP battles in an 8v8 format, and if at least half of them are won by the Immortals, then nothing changes. If Shadows win half of the battles, then the top clan turns into Immortals. Such castling occurs every few months. After the reset, all Shadows lose their rank and they will have to start over. Immortals for their rank receive a unique stat boost, valuable weekly resources, and unique cosmetics, such as burning wings. Not exactly a terrible donut. Yes, we all know that Immortal is an F2P project with microtransactions. But how serious is it? For money, you can buy special crystals and stones for random modification of dungeons and rifts. The battle pass will also be delivered. It will have free and premium trails, like in Call of Duty Mobile. The difference in rewards will be about the same. Donators will receive exclusive cosmetics and more resources. And although it may seem that the devil is not as scary as he is painted, there are still concerns. Crystals and stones help knock out cool armor, which may affect PvP if NetEase and Blizzard do not introduce separate equipment for mock-8 with players. As for insiders, they saw the following figures on Google Play, from 73 to 445 rubles, the numbers are translated from the dollar. I would like to believe in the generosity of the developers, but in the same COD Mobile, the maximum cost of the goods reaches 2,290 rubles. As for the release, insiders are waiting for the release of Diablo Immortal at the end of 2021. Due to COVID-19, we may see a regional OBT, as we once did with League of Legends, Wild Rift.